park here in the UK has recently submitted planning permission for a brand new huge family roller coaster. And I have all the details, including the location, the manufacturer, and even a POV of the thing. More on that later. Alongside that, another UK theme park has made a questionable decision in submitting their own planning permission, this time for a walk-through attraction. And another UK park has just opened a brand new coaster and shown us that they're building another new one for next year already. Blimey, how much is going on? Because all that and even more has happened this past week in theme parks. Yes, welcome back to the weekly news series, which is definitely not weekly, because there hasn't been an episode for about 3 weeks. This past week in theme parks, where we take a look at all the theme park industry news in the past week. And I say it every time, but it has been a busy one. So be sure to watch till the end so you don't miss any of this exciting news, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future exciting content, because I have returned now, and there's going to be a lot more coming very, very soon. But pushing all of that aside into the light over there, look, it's dragging me in. Let's get into the news, and because there is so much of it, as always, it would only be right to get through that news with the quickfire news segment. So let me just... Let's go through this news quickly. Starting in the USA. With one of the most roller coaster intensive parks, Cedar Point, they have just opened for the brand new season, and it appears Millennium Force, their Intamin Giga coaster, is having a lot of issues now that they've changed the seat belts on it, and they also appear to have changed Top Thrill 2's support structure. And now it looks like those sort of spiky cylinder traps that you'd see in medieval times. These helical strakes, or scruton strakes, whatever you want to call it, prevent structural damage from strong winds. And talking of strong winds, a roller coaster called Diamondback, much like Revolution at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, you can sort of see it going through that loop, and it gets really, really slow up onto that next part. So they think it's a good idea to send it back down, and what happens? It doesn't reach the other side. Some would say that is a better ride experience than the normal ride itself. Montezoomas Revenge at Knott's Berry Farm is finally looking like it's going to reopen after pretty much being down for 4 years, and trains have been spotted in the station. What on earth are those restraints? Family Kingdom have now decided to delay their brand new RMC Raptor coaster until 2027, and Verbolten Forbidden Turn over at Busch Gardens Williamsburg reopens on the 30th of May to guests. As a ride at Walt Disney World has just reopened as well, Big Thunder Mountain, it opened at the start of the month. That's how long it's been since the last episode. And the ride's all about dynamite and detonation and everything like that. It all goes a bit wrong in the mountain, but it all went a bit wrong in the station because part of the track or something under the track caught fire. Special effects nowadays have just gotten so lifelike. But also over in the Hollywood Studios park, they have been very slowly reopening the Rock and Roller Coaster, which is now Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. And from POVs I've seen, the inside of the ride looks very similar, just with a few more Easter eggs and a few more little things, nods to Muppet Vision and stuff like that. And in all honesty, the pre-show before you get on, the animatronic in there looks absolutely insane. And it might be controversial to say, but I do think this might be better than the Aerosmith version. I know, I've got the quickfire gun out, please don't shoot me with it. But I look forward to getting on that at some point. And also at Disney World, or technically it's not at Disney World, but it's a recreation of it. This has just been dropped as a Lego set. By Lego, obviously. Main Street USA, you know, you've got those minifigures in there, you've got like the nice buildings, they do look a little bit plain compared to how detailed they are in real life. And it's not too big of a set, but how much do you think that is? Leave a guess. I can't see your guesses. Well, if you thought it was about $200 or $300, you're wrong, because it's actually $400 for that tiny little set, and lots of Disney fans are fuming, and I don't really blame them, to be honest. And people over at Universal Studios Hollywood, they weren't fuming, but they were screaming as staff and rider tests have begun on their Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift coaster, and just give it a listen. I think they might be scared, but that appears to be them actually testing the sound levels if people are screaming to their maximum volume. So maybe we need to test that out in my studio right now. What a lovely way to round out the USA news. Because I went on the internet and I found this. As you can see, look at this amazing roller coaster. Yes, you can actually buy this, if you couldn't tell on screen, for $3,000. So if we all chip in, like, I don't know, 30p? No, sorry, if we all chip in 3 pence, then we could buy that thing. But we could also ride this thing instead. Look, it's like a nice boomerang that's got a weird little hump in it, and the train faces inwards of each other, which is strange. A nice airtime hill, followed by That looks horrendous. Over in Europe, we have a few very important stories. Over in the Netherlands at Toverland, their cool looking bobsled, like, I don't even know how to explain this ride. Some launched bobsled thing called Maximus Blitzbahn that has now officially closed. And there's some exciting stuff happening at that park over the next couple years, so definitely one to look out for. 100% Wolf that just opened over in Plopsaland, Deutschland. That valid? As you do. And Friese Park Plon have been busy testing their brand new Mack Rides launched water coaster for the first ever time. And when I first saw a video of this, I thought, my god, it barely makes it over those hills. But as testing has continued, it's definitely gotten faster, and I really can't wait to eventually get out and ride that. Seems like such a cool concept. Maybe one day they'll bring a water coaster to the UK, especially a Mack one. Well, that brings me on nicely to the UK. Let me just transport there real quick. Oh, for God's sake. Because Paultons Park down near Southampton have finally opened Valgard, a brand new Viking-themed land with a retheme of their Gerstlauer bobsled coaster, turning from a cobra snake to a bird. Raven. And a huge Gerstlauer Eurofighter called Drakon, and the area looks absolutely incredible, with the ART Engineering Wild Swing as well, aptly named Wildest Swing, which, fun fact, over at Emerald Park in Ireland, they're actually building one of those rides, but calling it Swingosaurus. Fun fact of the day. But on the opening day of Paultons Park's brand new area, which sadly I couldn't attend, I really wanted to though, they announced a brand new Mack Rides water coaster. They listened to me. I just said I would love to see one in the UK. And we are getting one in the form of a bright yellow ride called Serpent's Curse, which you should subscribe, by the way, because on this series we actually found that name a few months ago. And it's going to fit into that Valgard area and finish it off very, very nicely. We need more investment like that in our UK parks, but for now we can just take one brand new ride at a park, like Blackpool have just opened in the form of Aviktas. That literally happened yesterday when you're watching this, and I was there, and oh, it was so beautiful. It was just amazing. I don't know how it was right now, but I'm sure there was some form of a shambles in there, and you can go and watch my entire on-ride reaction right now, hopefully, that side. We've got Paultons building a brand new coaster, and they've just opened one. Blackpool just built a gyro swing. What are Alton Towers up to? Well, they seem to be making a lot of updates for their May half-term event, which I can't lie, the updates do look very promising. But at the same time, they have just put in planning permission for a brand new attraction coming to X Sector. And we saw this come back a few months ago, but we didn't know where it would be. And we guessed maybe it is a scare maze or something. And it's going in X Sector, but even when I first saw the plans, I thought, oh, they're going to put it on the Enterprise site so it's out the way so they can do something else in like submission space or vice versa. No. They've just decided to stick it directly in the middle of the two sites and potentially preventing them from building any other rides in those spaces, which is a very questionable decision. But with the way the queue is laid out and the way that that building is, I don't know if this is going to be one of those ones that is just temporary and is only used for Scarefest, because the other ones are so out of the way and you don't really see them. This is directly in the center of the entire area. So if for some reason that isn't for a permanent attraction, a permanent walkthrough attraction, then I can't lie, I will be very, very confused, as I kind of already am, to be fair. But alongside planning permission going in at Alton Towers, there's been a planning application down at Legoland Windsor as well, because as we know, they closed the Viking River Splash River Rapids ride. No, what? I thought it was a dark ride quite a few years back now, and it's pretty much just laid dormant there on the hillside, and we've always sort of seen it as we walk past or seen it down on the hill, just thinking, what on earth are they going to do with that, and when are they going to do something with it? And I've lost complete track of time, but maybe a couple of months ago they put in planning permission to actually destroy that entire ride and its area to make way, as management said, for a brand new attraction or little sub area of an already existing one. So we knew it wasn't going to be Vikings, because that would mean another Viking area in the UK. So it could either be Pirates or Ninjago. And now, through planning permission being submitted by the park, we actually have a look at the entire layout of the ride from a top-down perspective, and it appears this is going to be quite a big family coaster, specifically a Mack Rides spinning coaster. On the hillside, most likely themed to Ninjago, and it's going to have a really nice layout, dropping down and then having various helixes. You can see a twisted airtime hill in there as well, some heavy banking, and of course the station. What an element that is. No, but the layout of this looks really, really nice, and I'm probably going to have to recreate it in Planet Coaster at some point, so 1,000 likes if you want to see that. But we kind of already don't have to recreate it to see it with our own eyes, because this ride actually already exists. over in Legoland Korea, and the color scheme and the layout and the way the trains look, the theming in the middle of that. I think this is going to be an incredible fit for Legoland Windsor. And once again, shout out to FGA channel Korean Theme Park Archive. They actually filmed an on-ride POV of this thing so we can get a good idea of that experience. And as you can see, it drops down, spinning up the lift hill, which is interesting. Something like Storm Chaser here in the UK doesn't actually spin up the lift. Going around the dragon there, so cool. And then it's just nice. It's a bit repetitive with like the turns and, oh my god, that guy in the background was spinning so much. It's slightly repetitive with the turns and the sort of just little airtime hills and the twists and everything, but I just like that on a spinning coaster. I think it's a really nice layout and a really good fit as it goes round. Another couple S-curves there and then into the brake run. Yeah, I think that'll work so well at Windsor. And if you are somehow wondering, oh, do we actually know it's the exact same one? The layout is identical. So I'd imagine it is the same one. So don't be surprised if we get an announcement from Legoland Windsor in the next coming years for the brand new Masters of Spinjitzu spinning roller coaster by Mack Rides, because that is what this is probably going to be. Wow, don't we just know so much here on this channel? You should subscribe so you don't miss future news and future speculation, because otherwise you wouldn't know about stuff like that, you know? Well, you probably would, but why not subscribe anyway? Especially if you did enjoy, so be sure to leave a like as well and comment down below what your favourite news piece of today was. And I'll see you all next week. Goodbye.